Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to my wonderful pink world, the swivel chair of dreams. Today is my first Ask Becky video in a year. The last time I filmed one was October of 2023. We're nearly 2025. As I film this is the first DSLR video I've filmed in more than half a year. I'm out of practice. I feel like I've jumped back in time. I've used these today as well because it's so dark outside. It's like a storm. So noisy. I need these to see, but then they reflect that it's been a long time coming, and thank you to everybody who sent in questions. A few people have asked about my legs. How am I getting on? Well, I still have problems. One of the good things about kayaking is I'm sat down the majority of the time. It's one of the reasons why I got into kayaking, and one of you asked, why did I get into kayaking? Well, it's because of my legs. I wanted to do something, and in summary, kayaking does involve a lot of sitting. Like, it's a sport I can actually do. I can't go running off and do marathons, but I can go kayaking down white water. What things are you looking forward to, basically? Change! In my life right now, I'm at a point where I have been trying to move on, to turn the page of a massive chapter that I am sick of. I can't wait for it to finish. I want it done. It's taken a long time to get to a point where I have done everything that I can to turn the page, but now I'm at a point where I'm waiting on like third parties to get their act together, and then I can start moving on. I feel stunted, I feel like I'm breathing stale air every day, I feel quite angry on a regular basis. I can't wait to be in a place where there's less noise. I'm looking forward to that. One of those things will probably happen sooner than the other, but I just want change. I'm also looking forward to seeing my hair get longer, like another year perhaps. Come on. What makes me feel cozy? I loved this one. So for me, I love real fires. I love warm tone bulbs. I'm sitting in a flat right now where there's grey walls and warm bulbs, and it's horrible. Preferably warm bulbs with warmer colours, or just cream on the walls rather than grey. When it's dark outside but it's warm inside, like warm lighting. No grey, creams, warm colours. I love the sound of rain as well, both realistic rain but also getting my googles to play sounds like bubbling brooks, thunderstorm sounds. That makes me feel quite safe and cosy. I love candles, snuggling up, blankets, fluffy duvets, cats, being surrounded by cats. All the purring, the trilling, the happiness, the cuddles. And a big hot chocolate, of course, but I'm not as obsessed with hot chocolates as I used to be. My sweet tooth is still there, but I have less of them. Please come back to Scotland. Yes, I'd love to move to Scotland or Wales. I want to get as far away from London as possible. But yeah, I am desperate to go. I'd like to spend 3 months up there. Do I follow any social media accounts of neurodivergent women? That was a summary. Growing up, I wasn't aware of any creators that spoke about being autistic or neurodivergence. Neurodivergence didn't enter my vocabulary until my late 20s. And then increasingly in my 20s, I tried to reach out to communities that were to do with neurodivergence, not that I had that term in my brain at the time, and I felt rejected because I was self-diagnosing, so I didn't feel like I could engage. Then when I was diagnosed, I started to, but I haven't found anybody that I connect to. There's parts of people's lives that I connect to, but I don't connect to individuals. It's also been quite frustrating because in the same way that with my trich, I'm at a different stage of life to many triches out there in terms of neurodivergence, everybody's at different stages. So people have been diagnosed at different times, people have access to different healthcare, the amount of people that are on my feeds talking about medication in terms of ADHD. And it's just frustrating because although it's fantastic to see people talking about their journeys, I'm not anywhere near where they are. Everybody's journey is entirely different, like very different lives. Just because somebody is neurodivergent doesn't mean we have anything in common aside from disability either. It's a complicated one. I think I'm also at a point in my life where I'm sick to death of people. So forget neurodivergent creators, I'm just finding it difficult to bond with anybody because of so much trauma on the back of no diagnosis or incorrect diagnosis. There was a point where I tried knitting. This is my pot of knitting needles. Oscar, the dog, ate that one. I was furious. I enjoyed the whole motion of knitting itself rather than creating stuff. I don't think I've got it in me to create stuff. I find crafting and anything that's sort of 3D, like clay, I find it overwhelming. Whereas painting, there's something about art in that way that I connect more to. Last year I gave away a ton of my wool because it was just sitting there and I wasn't using it, but I have kept the needles, so maybe at some point I will start again. Next one, where am I working and do I enjoy it? So I am neurodivergent, but I am a working person, and the job I'm currently in, I've been in 3.5 years. I have been a webinar producer for a big company in London. There's moments where I wish I could elaborate more, but I think the best thing for me is just to keep it private. Have my life entirely separate. But it's to do with media. I'm grateful for that job every day of my life. But never put all your eggs in one basket, so I've got other sources of income. So I Twitch, I get paid every couple of months or so I'm not earning that much. I earn from YouTube and TikTok. I used to have an art store, I did shut that down. That's a topic. It's been closed 2 years now, and I want to sell my art, but I am terrified because I deal with disability that impacts everything. One of the reasons why I failed at it before is because I was a neurodivergent person trying to live as a neurotypical and it wasn't working, and I couldn't cope with everything that I needed to do in order to be successful doing that. Just because I work and I earn doesn't mean that I don't struggle. I feel like I struggle every day of my life, and I feel like at times I need support that is not there. But I am carrying on and I am doing my best. I am a severely independent woman. I'm hyper independent. Now that you've been diagnosed, are the symptoms getting worse? Well, in summary, yes, I am dealing with skill regression, and one of the ways that I am able to create content, I've been creating loads the last couple of months, is that I am creating in bulk and then spreading stuff out. I'm planning ahead, I am recording in advance. I'm also recording myself more in specific states rather than all my states. I think the versions of Rebecca you've seen the last couple of months or so are quite masked. Whilst I love the way that I am in this moment as I'm filming this is not me all the time. I have different states. I have shutdowns. I don't wear makeup all the time. I'm not in high gear, at least externally. Mentally, I am in high gear 24/7, 365, always have been. But I found this has been more productive for me to try not to force it. So when it does come naturally, when I do have that energy, just go for it. Yeah. I definitely am masked. I'm definitely in a heightened state in this. This is more like what you've been seeing over the last 10 years, I suppose. I think I am different though. I'm not looking at the camera as much, and I'm more aware of myself than I ever have been. I'm going on tangents as well. That's another thing. I'm trying to just let myself just run riot. Don't be scripted. Just flutter away. Take off. But yeah, I am filming in advance of posting, and I hope that's okay. It enables me to create, which is a good thing. So someone's asked why I've removed a lot of videos. There's lots of reasons. Back in 2019, I took a ton of stuff down and then took loads down during COVID, and there's been a few extra things I've taken down post-autistic diagnosis. I think generally people change over time, and your younger self isn't necessarily who you are now, and you don't agree with your younger self. You can change. I can contradict my younger self, even if people think my younger self is still my present self. No, I disagree with her. As for neurodivergence, I have nearly 18 years worth of media that I created before I was diagnosed as autistic. And there's a ton of stuff that I've made which is dated in terms of I was talking about my difficulties from the perspective of mental health when that's incorrect, but also I can see someone dealing with disability who's not being diagnosed correctly, who is being incorrectly supported. I am clearly struggling, or I'm displaying what is being autistic, and there's possible ADHD. I appreciate at times I'm funny. I'm not always intending to be funny, but also there's times where are people finding things funny because they're funny, or people laughing at disability, and with my own self it's just uncomfortable. Especially some of the food videos. It's a complicated one, that one, but yeah, I've taken a lot of stuff down and I feel better for it. Okay, a lighter one. What is my favourite colour combo to wear? Well, I'm loving this today, the pink and the purple. I know, a younger Rebecca wouldn't have worn purple. Pink makes me the happiest. I don't think pink suits me at all. My lipstick isn't quite pink, I don't have any pink in the flat. I think olive green and brown suit me, but pink is the thing for me. This one was an interesting one. I'm curious where you are with your faith right now. The summary is, I am lost. I think I've been lost the entirety of my faith journey, and increasingly so, but I feel like I've never been able to connect the people around me with faith in the way that they all seem to connect to each other, but also I'm understanding I've been neurodivergent and haven't known so, and so I struggle with people as it is, but also the way that my brain thinks and processes stuff, factor in the ADHD. People probably don't think that being autistic and faith can be connected together, but yes, they certainly can, and I don't have the words to talk about my own thoughts, feelings, and experiences. I will link downstairs to a video of somebody else talking about neurodivergence and faith, and it illustrates more than I could possibly say, but I'm just lost. You've asked about my bucket list. So I actually made a bucket list video sitting in this exact spot in 2018. I will link that video somewhere there, and it's downstairs below. But I feel quite different about my bucket list post-diagnosis. So I could sit down and do a video reviewing that and maybe doing a new set perhaps. But yeah, my brain is definitely thinking of things differently now. And again, people also change over time. So what I wanted at 25 is not what I want at 31. And the last one is this one, but she also asked about painting. So yes, I'm still creating tons of art. Most of it's digital. This is one that I technically did last year. It's unfinished. That's a physical one that I can show. And here's just a couple of others that I've done recently, but I am creating constantly. I'm feeling really good. And I think that brings me to the end of this one. I'm a bit nervous because I feel like I've spoken a lot about neurodivergence, but it is impacting a ton of my life and it connects to everything. It's nice to be able to talk about it now. If you have any more questions, please pop them downstairs below. I'll see if I can do another one of these. I won't wait a year. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you in the next one.